Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the Awesome Walter YouTube channel. If you were on Channel Awesome's YouTube channel earlier today, you saw the top 5 best Back to the Future trilogy moments. Hopefully you clicked over here from there. That was a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do that top 5 for a long time. And, you know, I have the Back to the Future, The Complete Adventures that came out in 2015, of course, for the 30th anniversary. And this has all 3 Back to the Future movies, along with a bonus disc with a bunch of extra material. A 64-page book, which I have not been able to delve into yet, but this is what it looks like. So I'm excited to check this out when I get a chance. But it also contains the Back to the Future animated series, which I had never seen. I did not grow up with. It only aired for a very limited amount of time on CBS in 1991 and 1992. I believe they re-aired it from what I saw during this research, that they re-aired it in like 2003 for a week or something like that. So I missed out on that. I was too young to catch it when it was actually airing. So I always wanted to check it out to see, you know, like what it was all about. And since I have it on there, I actually watched it. So it was all 26 episodes, 2 seasons of 13 episodes each. Christopher Lloyd returned for the live action segment, so they mixed the live action stuff with the cartoon stuff. It was mostly an animated series, of course, but they did have those live action segments like intros and outros with Doc. And then they had Bill Nye in there doing like these little science experiments at the end of the show, which was pretty cool. And that's how he got his start, was on this show. And then he got the spinoff, which was Bill Nye the Science Guy, as we all know. So that's a cool little factoid about this show, that it contributed to another popular TV personality in the 90s. So those live action segments are really cool. It kind of almost reminds me of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, where they mixed in cartoon stuff with the live action stuff. Quality-wise, this is better, I think, than the Mario show. But I grew up with the Mario show, so I have obviously way more memories attached to that than this. I may have seen a commercial or two or something later, but I really didn't know much about this until you know, like years after it already aired and stuff. So, but in addition to Doc being back, Christopher Lloyd doing the live action segments, they had Mary Steenburgen doing the voice of Clara. They had Thomas F. Wilson voicing Biff, and all of the Tannins, not just Biff. Biff's a character, but he's not in every episode. It's more just all the Tannins that they encounter across time and stuff. So he's in the show as well, which is cool. We have Jules and Vern. That's probably the biggest development in this series. We see at the very end of Back to the Future Part 3, Jules and Vern are introduced to Marty and Jennifer on the time train. And this is very much about their adventures and focuses more on the Brown family than Marty. Marty is in the show, and apparently he's the main character, but he's not, especially in the first season, he's not the focus of most of the episodes. It's mostly about Jules and Vern and Doc and Claire, which is cool, which is about the Brown family traveling throughout time. And I like that. I think that's a good idea for a spin-off show from Back to the Future. So I will say that it's not anything that I felt like I had to see after watching all of it. It's not like something incredible or amazing. You can compare these to some of the comics and stuff that have been out now, and even way back when they had comics that were spun off from the TV show after it was canceled. And actually, Dwayne McDuffie, who was a big writer and a big force on the DCAU and wrote for them for a long time, created Static Shock, all that kind of stuff. He was a writer on those comics, so that was pretty cool. Just a little like tie-in there. But yeah, overall the show is it's got a solid premise for a kids show, but that's really all it is. It doesn't ever try to reach further than that, which is fine. I mean, it was an early 90s cartoon show for kids that aired on Saturday mornings, so it wasn't anything that was reaching for an older audience, or, you know, most of the audience that watched the movies. This was obviously just for kids. Jules and Vern, they're just characters that are supposed to be presented to kids, and, you know, very streamlined type characters. So Jules is the older one. He has brown hair. He's basically Doc Jr. He's the smart one. He knows everything that Doc does already. Basically, is this kid prodigy. He has all the intelligence that Doc has. Vern is interesting because Vern's not like smart. He's actually kind of dumb. They play him up as the more loose cannon and stuff. Has way more in common with like maybe a younger, more spunky version of Marty than Doc or Claire or anything. So that was interesting. They gave him the little raccoon tail hat that they had Marty's, I guess that was his uncle, in Back to the Future Part 1 that he was wearing. So it was like that same kind of thing, and it was kind of a similar design to that actor. I know he was in Wonder Years and stuff too. So he's a kind of well-known actor, but it kind of looked like him, which is a weird design to go after. But so they basically just go to different time periods and stuff, and that's kind of the premise of the show. And they encounter, little problems with their families, or, run into, there's always a tannin in every episode. They go to the, like, Jurassic Age and stuff like that to see dinosaurs a few times. They changed the course of time, like, quite a bit throughout the series, and it's not, like, nearly as big of a deal as it is in the movies. And I think that's the thing that's missing, is just, since this is really just a very lighthearted show, they're not like delving into the deeper things that the Back to the Future series went into, the more dramatic elements or anything like that. A lot of the character designs in this show, just background characters and stuff, not the main characters, but once in a while I'd see background characters in almost every episode that really reminded me of Hey Arnold character models. Was that just me? Because they looked a lot like Hey Arnold character models. I could have sworn I saw at least a dozen of them in the background here and there. And I know that the guy who voiced Doc in the animated segments, which was not Christopher Lloyd, this was a different guy. He was a prolific voice actor. I think he voices Homer Simpson, a bunch of the Simpsons characters. And he voiced Grandpa Phil in Hey Arnold. So there is kind of that weird connection when he uses different voices besides Doc for like background characters and stuff. They do kind of sound like those Hey Arnold characters. So I was always just like, why is there's this weird Hey Arnold connection? Am I the only one? Am I the only one seeing that? Let me know if you guys saw that. But overall, I do enjoy it. It's just like it's fine. It's a nice little addition, and I'm glad I saw it. A nice addition to the Back to the Future legacy. So I would recommend checking out a few episodes, not the whole series if you haven't seen it. But if you've grown up with it, then I'm sure that you'll enjoy it more going back to watch it again if you haven't seen it in a long time. But as for me, it just wasn't like anything that I was dying to tell you guys to go out and see if you haven't seen it or anything like that. But I want to hear what you guys think about this, because I was out of the loop on this series for a long time. So do you enjoy Back to the Future, the animated series? Do you think it's something that has to be seen by Back to the Future fans? What's your stance on it? Does it hold up to you? Or if you grew up with it, if you're watching it now, do you think it's just as good as it was when you were a kid? Was it everything you remember, or what did you think? And also make sure you check out the top 5 best Back to the Future trilogy moments right now on Channel Awesome. Next week they will be doing a top 5 worst trilogy moments, so that's going to be really difficult to do, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best to see if I can pull things I don't really like about the series. Back to the Future, if you've seen my top 5 favorite movies, Back to the Future is on there, so all 3 of them. So it's going to be difficult to, kind of nitpick. I'm going to really have to nitpick at that series to get something that I don't like out of it, but it's going to be an interesting challenge, and I'm looking forward to putting that one together. So, I would say, Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis are always saying that they don't want a reboot of Back to the Future, thank God, or Back to the Future Part 4 or anything like that. But I would say it would be interesting to see a new animated series based on the show, because the game did really well. The Telltale game from a few years ago, I know people who bought it and played it said it was pretty good. And I did watch a lot of cutscenes from it online, and it was an interesting story that they told there. So there is some juice still in the Back to the Future and Mr. Fusion, or whatever you want to call it, in the gas tank. So I would like to see, maybe an animated series again. I think that would be fun. You don't have to say it's officially in continuity or whatever. Maybe make it a little less goofy. Maybe make it more for all ages, where kids and adults can enjoy it. I think that would really, do well. I think that would be a lot of fun. And obviously Christopher Lloyd would probably come back to voice Doc, because he loves playing Doc. Whenever there's an opportunity for him to play that character, he always does it. So it would be fun to see, wouldn't it? What do you think of that idea? Would you like to see a new animated series of Back to the Future? Maybe a 3D animated show or something like that? Maybe in the style like Clone Wars or something, with those character designs. I think that would kind of fit with Back to the Future. Let me know what you would think of that in the comments below. Do you want a Back to the Future Part 4? I want to hear what people think of that. It is kind of the perfect trilogy, but do you think there's an idea they could do where the Back to the Future trilogy can turn into a quadrilogy of 4 or 5 or 6 films? Let me know in the comments. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out those top 5 best Back to the Future trilogy moments on Channel Awesome and for next week. So I'll see you back here with a brand new video very soon, and I'll see you in the future.